when you're validating a bank account with a penny test or pre-note or anything like that, you're validating it's open and it can accept funds. But you're not verifying that the tax ID on that bank account belongs to whom you expect to pay. So when I look at the way folks think they're validating, I just wonder, Chris, if there's just a disconnect between what people up top think is being done and what's actually being done by the folks sitting in those chairs.
I think that's a really insightful thought. I would agree that there is a disconnect between the folks that do this work every day and the folks that report on this work every day. I see the same thing in my business where we have information that's shared with us in the underwriting process that say one thing, but ultimately, when you dig a little bit deeper and start asking a few more probing questions, you find out actually that's not entirely accurate. Once we talk to the folks that actually press the buttons, fill out the forms, take that information in. This information, if we look at the data on the screen, it's saying that 53%, or just about half, perform some level of verbal verification of changes in information. I think that's probably a bit generous, but okay, let's go with that. That means that half aren't. Half of them aren't doing that. And what we ask what they are actually doing, there's a substantial trend in this information that says that the bank is doing this work for them. And what most people don't realize is that the banks are not in the business of doing this validation for insureds or for customers. Banks are validating information through either EWS or verification of known information, but they're only doing what's required under the law. So you'll see in New York some brought by Letitia James against Citibank, and that's on the consumer side. But you see that what she's alleging is that there is no verification happening, that fraud is going through, even though we have controls in place. On the business side, it's even worse. So all those protections that she cites aren't there for businesses. Reg E specifically says that commercial accounts are not included in anything that she's talking about. It's entirely on the company to maintain and control their access to their bank account, who they put in, make those wires to, and ultimately, at the end of the day, if they're putting in the information and they're validating it through a penny test or through some other thing that doesn't say who owns that account, the money goes through and there's no liability on the part of the bank.